Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Namaskar. This is Suraj Singh speaking from Bharat, India on this day, October 22nd, 2021, Friday. And this is regarding quality as usual. Talk of quality, talk of what is required. This certification, as usual, I show to you. And also another one, and also another one membership. And then we have here system that we have to reach, what is quality, why it is required. And that is our main point of attainment, why we should worry about that. Title, signals are 00, very bad. Again, signals always a problem. Unfortunately, I'm recording this online, that Airtel should listen to signals issue. They ignore. They have been ignoring. When talk relates to quality system and safety, and it relates to profession, it relates to life, and titles, field engineering, or you can say engineering. Engineering means life, which means engineers quality AnnexSL is a systematic structure, and we have red, silver, etc. And we have to decide, we have to discuss about construction, about methods, about contracts, organizations or institutions, and what is about communication and coordination, which must be on top priority. Because without communication and without all that, we can say nothing can work. That's also true. Nothing can move. Quality is such a domain we have to be very, very concerned about. So that we are time. So you can see I'm talking about gunvatta, I'm talking about quality, I'm talking about security, I'm talking about surety, I'm talking about safety, I'm talking about production, industry, and construction, and of course safety, health, and environment. I'm talking use of energy and works. And also we can say that I'm talking about, you have to ask a question yourself. What is the status of quality in your life? What do you think about quality in your life, on yourself, and works that you do, and also works that you rely upon? And then you have asked this question about safety, health, which is very much required for everybody, everyone. It has to be complied with, and you don't comply it means doesn't no, it doesn't have any value, and quality must be complied with. There's no other way out of that, no other out. And it is only engineers that must realize quality facts. Abhyanta, I call in Hindi language, engineers means Abhyanta. Abhyanta must realize. And civil engineers are first requirement in society, therefore, its responsibility on shoulders of civil engineers, on totality of civil engineers, that have to move on to AnnexSL that we are talking about, which is very important part. Videos and audio again 00. Unfortunately, I am fed up. There is no progress on part of Airtel to help its customers, particularly on video issues. When you go on live, but signals are not credible, you can say these are not credible. When we talk of quality system, we talk of so many issues, and quality system is very much responsible. We had gone through this, and we are somewhere in this clause about pipes, pipe racks. Let's say I have. We are in this pipe section. I was actually very interested in talking about piping, not because it's my domain or it's my specialty. It's not question of specialty because we are talking here contracts. We are talking here contracts and means we are talking here annex, ASL, structure system, quality world. Many times I have described quality world, which means some standard world where standards are to be practiced. Standard means we have fixed ourselves, nobody has done it for us. It's not mathematical equation, it's not physics or chemistry. It is just means to fix some way, fix some boundaries that we have to maintain these minimum. If we exceed them, there's no problem, but we maintain this defined or specified level of requirement on whatever work we do, whatever you can say product we do. We have to achieve at least that requirement. In clarity, it is simple. I define something, I can say this is my requirement. For example, it's very childish example, but it's very important one. I want to make a cup of tea. Okay, tea, everybody knows what is tea and how it is made, we know. How it's cooked, we know. But what we do, somebody takes some quantity of water and directly put in, boil it and add some tea leaves without any measurements and add some sugar to that. Boiling goes on and on. And then we add some quantity of milk if milk is required. And then boil, and after some time we screen it out, filter it, and the tea is ready for consumption. That's tea, okay? If it's just a blank process. Now, okay, this is at random, you just added everything because of your judgment or your assessment and you prepared it. But you don't have any logical information about that. If I ask someone, tell me what was your proportioning in this, that person cannot answer because that person did not take any measurements for ingredients of tea to go into that system of tea making. What quantity of water I added, I do not know. That person doesn't know. How much, what weight or what quantity of tea bag or tea leaf added, nobody knows. And how many grams of sugar has been added also, it's not clear, just half spoon or 1 spoon or 1.5 spoon. Just rough measurement, or even you can say assessment. Because I every day make it, so I know it. All right, you are an expert on this, you know it, but what is other persons to know about this? Then we say, okay, add some milk and boil it. But now if I define everything that we have to take so many grams of water or so many cc of water, and I have to take so many milligrams of grams of tea leaf, then boil it and also add some quantity of sugar or no sugar, as you wish, what you say. And then I add so many grams of milk or liters of milk, maybe 1 spoon, 2 spoon, or whatever you wish, means whatever it is, I don't object on that. Means you shall get product according to your ingredients, ratio, proportion, whatever are these. And you taste it, okay, this ingredient ratio provides me this taste. I enjoy this taste. Or it may be delicious for you, or it may not be delicious for you. It may be delicious for somebody else, or it may be you wanted to add more, then you can next time add more or less. That's what I'm saying. There are so many varieties of teas. By same method, you can produce. If you offer this tea to three persons have different choices. And somebody wants less sugar, somebody wants more sugar, somebody wants less milk, somebody wants more milk, somebody doesn't want even milk, somebody doesn't want to take sugar. So you can say whatever is indicated, whatever is demanded, whatever is either one tea won't harm you. It is only question of your health. It's question of your requirement. If you feel, oh, this is very good tea I'm drinking, it's very nice, very hot, and I can re-energize myself with this, and that's what requirement is. So I'm just giving an example. We have measurement or we have no measurement. We have ratio proportion or we have no ratio proportion. That's what we have to see. And if I can see that, I would simply say, okay, I understand. This is a engineering way to cook a tea, to make a tea, a cup of tea. So what I could say, it says this is individual specified procedure for tea. You can say this ratio proportion that we decide for this, it becomes a part of tea, it becomes a part of specification, or you can say this is my quality approach for this tea, and that's what I'm talking about, nothing else. Whatever you specify on whatever work to do, that limit is called. You cannot say I want to live behind this or beyond this. If you don't if you don't comply with that specification requirement, what do you call yourself? And if you go beyond that, means you qualify that requirement and even you add more than that, what do you call yourself? So both questions are different. In one way, when you say, okay, I comply with this, compliance to requirement is acceptable. Okay, this is engineering part. And you say, I'm not only complying, but also I am giving you more than that or better than that. It's also acceptable within certain limits, of course. Means you cannot say in case of tea, I can add more sugar and drink it. People won't like it. So you can say, I have given more value than what you wanted or what your specification demanded. More value I'm giving you, but this more value won't harm your standards. You will like it. It may be economical saving, it may be long life, or it may be better performance, whatever it could be. Every part is, you can say, kind of ingredient in this work. See, now we say world is ruled by contracts. Every to some extent it is involved directly or indirectly. And that denial of reality is wonderful in negative sense. Something which works, and if it's known, it does not. What shall I say? That's real part. Real part which we must understand. Contract. Every time it is to be defined for understanding purpose. If you take article meaning of contract, it's very simple. Even a child, a baby, a school going kid can you understand it? There's nothing very complicated in this article of contract definition. If somebody defines in very plain language what is contract, there is only answer which is so simple. Two persons agree on something for something. Simple. I agree with you. I agree with you on something. You do it for me. I pay you this much. That is contract. Simple. Two persons. I'm sorry. Minimum two persons are required. One person cannot do open contract. We require two persons of sound mind, of certain age. Age is a must, that is because you cannot contract with someone who is much below than that age, who cannot understand anything. So condition is you should have a defined age, and you should have good mind, sound mind, and there should be some work to be done by either of these parties, and other parties should pay for that. Party that requires work to be done, party that pays to other party, that's called party 1, or we call it employer. Other one who does it for that party 1, that is called party 2, and you can say in our terminology it is called contract. So both are parties on contract. Party 1 is a contracting party and party 2 is also a contracting party. But one is called employer or owner because risk lies with that party about that money that goes and acceptability of that product that other party produces for that owner. So contract is that simple in its entirety. There should be some definition of work. There should be some payment or consideration. We call it legal language. Consideration must be paid. It must be defined. And if it's defined, and duration is also important. Duration means timing. So what time should be allowed for this work? If it is done before that time, it's very well. And if it takes more time, then there's a question mark. Why more time? Why not right time? What action should be taken on that by employer? This is simple definition of contract. And such contracts are performed or created every day, but we do not notice them. Every day, whatever you do is done under some kind of verbal or tacit or understandable contract. Not necessarily write everything. Sometimes practice becomes a contract itself, a kind of contract. Service contract, it may be service contract, it may be work contract, it may be supply contract, it may be some other kind of contract which should be can be called contract, not otherwise. If something is illegal, is antisocial, is against policy, that contract or that part of contract can be declared void by law, by judiciary, or it is void. That point is very significant to be understood. I'm not here to explain contract, but just try to give a background for something to understand. We talk of real life. We talk of world. We do not It is demand, it is requirement, it is time, it is necessity that someone does some work. How that work is to be done, whether I do myself or I do it through someone else. There are both ways. I can do myself. Yes. If I have that structure, I have that organization, I have got that capacity, I can work myself. What's wrong with that? I can do it myself. Or I don't take headache, I do not get involved myself practically, then I try to find someone who can do it for me and who knows how to do it, who has enough sense to do that, who has enough experience to carry out that job, and money that person acts. It is so simple. Now it's up to us how to use this theory, how to use this philosophy. If I say no, I have no time or I don't have capacity, in a sense, technical requirement, or in some other sense, I cannot move myself. In that case, I have no option but to find someone who can help me as a person to do this job for me, and I can pay that person its cost of working. So simple. Now, contract can be of many limits, many characters, many which we actually call contracts or agreements. It's agreement by two parties. Agreement by two parties who are defined on contract. Minimum two parties are defined on contract. I got this item from this vendor. Yes, you got this item from this vendor. Vendor may be manufacturer or vendor can be service provider. You got this item. Now it's a contract. You paid. You got some bill, some receipt, or even if in that case, that vendor is responsible. Yes, that vendor is responsible for that article or for that product. We have to accept that fact. We are talking of something big. We're talking of something which, as a person, I may not be able to do, or even a person that other person may not be able to do. Yes, that's right. We both have limitations. But my experience does not allow me to do that. But experience of that person allows that person to do that conveniently, physically, mechanically, safety wise, quality wise, to do something which I cannot do and I am unable to do, but that person has got capability to do it. So I can appoint that person based on that person's demand or offer. All right, we agree on this. Now such demands are very easy, very convenient, but these are not arbitrary demands. These are not arbitrary demands, these are based on past experience or calculations. If we can calculate You can call it calculation based price. It's not simple price, but it is calculation based, means how much work I have to do, how much work, and what's price of one unit of that work, which we can calculate. This is total multiplication and this is price. It can involve many factors in that, including profit of that party too. We can say, okay, this is my price. Now I am talking about that. When we talk of mass scale contracts, mega contracts, some big project like refineries, like facilities, like powerhouses, like you can say dams, water resources, buildings, or you can talk of road work, you can talk of major work, which may take time for doing, which may take years to do, and which may require hundreds and thousands of workers, and also a considerable quantity of other resources, materials, human resources, machine resources from around that country and around the world. We are going to deliberate on that issue. What is that? Now, we have talked of certain standard formats of contracts. We have talked of FIDIC based contracts formats, NEC based contracts formats, or some other which were used in the past, or also standards which cannot be formally called standards, but which are conventionally practiced. There are so many formats, but I cannot say that every format is perfect. It's based on experience, it's based on input from those who worked in contracts, and also how can we minimize disputes on these contracts. Because if contract generates disputes, whatever mistake one may have, I'm not blaming anyone here. It can be mistake by owner, it can be mistake by contractor, or it can be mistake by irrelevant parties, independent of this contract. Mistakes can happen, errors can happen. It depends upon what I view, other person cannot view, or my view may be incompetent, my capacity may be affected. So I can say that no contract is deficient, I can say defect free. No one can say this contract is perfect, but because we agree on these limitations, for us this is perfect. Until something is illegal, or we can have clarification before entering into that execution of contract. So this is very simple explanation I try to give, because I am going to talk about quality system in contracts, and that is EPC contracts, so we can call silver book. We are now going on. Currently we are moving on silver book, and I'm trying to give you technical items also, because it is only these items that can cause disputes on contracts. Every item, there are hundreds and hundreds items, or thousands items even in some cases, on considerable mega projects. But because it's a kind of miscellaneous type of talk, you can say, I cannot pinpoint only contract structure, I cannot pinpoint only quality structure, or I cannot confine myself to certain pointed or bulleted requirement. There are so many overlaps between AnnexSL and, you can say, contracts or various other subjects, technical subjects. It's a form of system only that we are talking of, a quality system, but it imports into itself many other requirements. We cannot simply undefine something and say, no, just talk of quality. Then it becomes misrepresentation. It becomes a misrepresentation talk. It gives a misrepresentation that I'm talking of quality, but quality can never be isolated. We have to keep in mind. Quality can never be considered in isolation. Okay, forget contract and forget technology and forget everything. Just talk of quality. There can be no such discussion. And if some discusses that's just idealistic and has got no practical meaning, It's got nothing at all. If you want to give example, without, you can say, cases, without what we call projects, no study can be named completed. I condemn that. So because I'm talking of AnnexSL, structure of quality system, and not only AnnexSL quality system, it's ordinary world also. It's ordinary world also. Even if you don't follow AnnexSL structure that is worldwide known now, it's been not only now effective 2015. Before that, there was no such. There was a miscellaneous mix-up. How to work on these, and most important among these is that ultimately contract is based on resources. Contract is based on resources like all materials to be included on that project, all human resources to be utilized, as well as whatever. We have to talk of that. So we are just trying to concentrate on materials. Unfortunately, signals are down again. I can't say. Material is first requirement like human resources. And if we can't understand materials, well, I think we can't understand anything. It depends on what type of project it is, what type of job it is. There is no job now, you can say, exclusively which belongs to one engineering branch. There is no such contract. Even very small contract, very small, which is a kind of complex project where I think almost more than five or six or more than five or six engineering branches are involved, which means services, which means designs of all. Wherein you require services input by all such of plants facilities, as I have discussed many times about plants. I showed to you Airtel payment. I think I'm not having that open file now. Okay, no problem. It is it's gone somewhere else. No problem. So what I'm saying is that we're talking of some major work. Well, when you say facilities means first of all you can say it is survey, It is civil, it is structural, it is mechanical, it is electrical, it is drainage. It is, you can say SCADA, it is, you may say hardly, hardly, hardly some engineering is left on such projects. Even agriculture comes into play when we talk of soft landscape, irrigation, grass, plants. Five, and then many others. You can say more than 4 or 5 or 6 engineering to access there. And if you take specializations of engineering, there will be 15 or 20 possibly. So when we talk of so wide disciplines, it is also part of concrete. We call it concrete building. Following videos, I think it will go. It's, it has to go. I think so. 2PF, 2FPS 00. We should have different mind. It's not only quality to be done, quality to be filled in, you can say, on product. We have to keep in mind that here quality is not an identity. Here quality is not a name alone. Here quality is not a separate division. It is something that is not seen but inbuilt within product. Product own character. Product own world you're talking of. I can compare it with my body. Yes, I can compare it to my body. I can't say I have no quality, but we can say only by analysis of our own system, if we can understand how to analyze. There is no separate instrument, there is no separate formula, there is no separate philosophy that can tell me this is your quality. Set references are available, and I too quantify and measure myself about my quality. We usually call nowadays quality life, quality engineer, quality professional, quality life this and life that, and quality this and that. We call that. This means what is not defined, it can be reliable. Or we have to stop everywhere. We have to stop everywhere. This is what we are talking of contracts. I want to explain as much as possible, because when we talk of contracts, we talk of definition of work, we talk definition of. To this point, we have to understand contract is very different world. It is full of feedback. All contracts are full of interdependencies. And what is interdependency? That we have to grip in. No project is clearly unidisciplinary. Every discipline, many disciplines are involved in every project, or you can say in every contract. But domination exists sometimes. You may say, oh, this is prime civil engineering contract, civil engineering work. Oh, this is mechanical work, civil is minor. And likewise, it happens. This your domination exists and other discipline does not exist. Can say. Now, for this reason, contract has come up in very powerful way. Powerful way. Powerful in the sense that it's not powerful for that honor only, it's powerful for society as well, for development as well. Powerful finance wise, powerful quantity wise, powerful quality wise, and powerful for reliability. Contract is a method now. It's something you can say business type. It's a kind of mental industry, mind industry. Everybody cannot deal with contract. You should have something and everything about that. We should understand what and what we have to understand about that contract. Sometimes that contract costs millions and billions dollars. Billions dollars, I'm saying. Of, you can say, unlimited amount. Unlimited in the sense that everybody cannot understand. On that contract. That is why my focus should be on, and I elected to discuss materials also with that contract. And I was talking about infrastructure, piping, or else there can be, you can say, many such expertise based activities. So much. There's so much piping and so much electrical work, so much, you can say, protection of everything. Means all these combinations depending on quantum of respective scope, respective discipline, and we can say, okay, it is my part here. It's my part here. Now if you deal with such contracts, if I deal with such contracts, this means I I must have that level of knowledge. I must have that capacity. I can lead that contract thoroughly. I must have that much mind, that much experience, that much, we can subject knowledge to lead that contract. And only I am leading. Remember, remember those who put me on leading, who designed these contract documents. They are much bigger to me because they have vision. They had vision. Else on whose surface, whose depth, whose contents I have to move. Really, if you want to see such person, that person is not fresh. That person who has to deal with all these requirements cannot be called fresh or young. That person must have a long backing of such much. I understand something, you can say, and I try to explain to my colleagues facts. If it's very important, one should understand contract clearly. That is only reason I always give more time while conversing on AnnexSL. So I try to explain to you pipes. It's not end of piping, but yes, you can say, we can say that I should wear sauce. Of solar exposure, and in case of meeting severe exposure conditions such as aggressive soils or very corrosive environment, the external liner can be reinforced with a surfing veil or added with filters or pigments. In work, clear concept is a must. Clear concept is a must. It's not the I say, it's a requirement. World of engineering is not book world. It's not saying word. It's not political word. It's not poetry. It's not jokes or jumlas. It's food for requirement. I'm not talking of food for eating. I'm talking of satisfaction. And that is clear conception. No delusion. No imagination. No mirage. No miracle. No superstition. But industrialization, economical development, raising